Origins of 12 modern icons. Who knows why some images endure while others slip through our consciousness quicker than $50 in a gas tank? In any case, you'll be surprised to learn how some of our most endearing friends made their way into our lives. 1. The Aflac duck. A duck pitching insurance? Art director Eric David stumbled upon the idea to use a web-footed mascot one day when he continuously uttered Aflac, Aflac, Aflac. Wait, let's mimic that duck. Aflac, Aflac, Aflac. It didn't take him long to realize how much the company's name sounded like a duck's quack. There are many fans of the campaign, but actor Ben Affleck, ooh, hottie. Well, no, actually, not my type at all. Is not one of them. Not surprisingly, he fields many comments that associate his name with the duck, and he is reportedly none too pleased. 2. Alfred E. Newman, the face of Mad magazine. Chances are you're picturing a freckle-faced, jug-eared kid, right? The character's likeness, which was created by portrait artist Norman Mingo, was first adopted by Mad in 1954 as a border on the cover. 2 years later, the magazine used a full-size version of the image as a write-in candidate for the 1956 presidential election. How many of y'all like those Mad magazines? Since then, several real people have been said to be separated at birth from Mr. Newman, including Ted Koppel, Jimmy Carter, and George W. Bush. 3. Betty Crocker. Thousands of letters were sent to General Mills in the 1920s, all asking for answers to baking questions. To give the responses a personal touch, the company's managers created a fictional character. Their surname, Crocker, was chosen to honor a retired executive, and Betty was selected because it seemed warm and friendly. In 1936, artist Nasa McMain blended the faces of several female employees to create a likeness. Crocker's face has changed many times over the years. She's been made to look younger and more professional, and now she has a more multicultural look. At one point, a public opinion poll rating famous women placed Betty Crocker second to Eleanor Roosevelt. And let me show you my shirt. Oh, yeah. And then I gotta show you my necklace. Remember this? Chicken wing. Okay. 4. Duke the Bush's Baked Beans Dog. Who better to trust with a secret recipe than the faithful family pooch? Bush Brothers and Company was founded by A.J. Bush and his 2 sons in 1908. In 1995, the advertising agency working for Bush's Baked Beans decided that Jay Bush, A.J.'s great-grandson, and his golden retriever Duke were the perfect team to represent the brand. The only problem was that the real Duke was camera shy, so a stunt double was hired to portray him and handle all the gigs on the road with Jay. In any case, both dogs were sworn to secrecy. 5. The California Raisins. Sometimes advertising concepts can lead to marketing delirium. In 1987, a frustrated copywriter at Foot, Cone, and Belding was working on the California Raisin Advisory Board campaign and said, "We have tried everything but dancing raisins singing. I heard it through the grapevine." With vocals by Buddy Miles and design by Michael Brunsfeld, the idea was pitched to the client. The characters plumped up the sales of raisins by 20%, and the rest is claymation history. 6. Joe Camel. Looking for a way to revamp Camel's image from an old man's cigarette in the late 1980s, the R.J. Reynolds marketing team uncovered illustrations of Old Joe, who was originally conceived for an old ad campaign in France in the 1950s. In 1991, the new Joe Camel angered children's advocacy groups when a study revealed that more kids under the age of 8 recognized Joe than Mickey Mouse or Fred Flintstone. 7. The Coppertone Girl. In 1959, an ad for Coppertone first showed a suntan little girl's white buttocks being exposed by puppy. "Don't be a paleface" was the slogan, and it reflected the common belief of the time that a suntan was healthy. Artist Joyce Valentine Brand created the pigtail little girl in the image of her 3-year-old daughter, Sherry. When the campaign leapt off the printed page and into the world of television, the role of the little girl became Jodie Foster's acting debut. As the 21st century dawned, and along with it changing views on sun exposure and nudity, Coppertone revised the drawing to reveal only the girl's lower back. 8. Juan Valdez. This coffee lover and his trusty donkey have been ensuring the quality of coffee beans since 1959. Back then, the National Federation of Coffee Growers of Colombia wanted to put a face on its thousands of coffee growers. But Doyle Dane Burnback and agency found one all right. By 1981, Valdez's image was so well known that it was incorporated into the Federation's logo. Originally played by Jose Duval, the role was taken over by Carlos Sanchez from 1969 to 2006. In his spare time, Sanchez manages his very own small coffee farm in Colombia. 9. Mr. Whipple. The expression "do as I say, not as I do" took on a persona in the mid-1960s. Mr. Whipple, to be specific, this fussy supermarket manager played by actor Dick Wilson, was famous for admonishing his shoppers by saying, "Ladies, please don't squeeze the Charmin." The people at Benton and Bowles Advertising figured that if Mr. Whipple was a habitual offender of his own rule, Charmin toilet paper would be considered the cushiest on the market. The campaign included a total of 504 ads and ran from 1965 until 1989, landing it a coveted spot in the Guinness Book of World Records as the planet's longest-running ad campaign. A 1979 poll listed Mr. Whipple as the third most recognized American behind Richard Nixon and Billy Graham. 10. The Gerber Baby. Contrary to some popular beliefs, it's not Humphrey Bogart, Elizabeth Taylor, or Bob Dole who so sweetly looks up from the labels of Gerber products. In fact, the face that appears on all Gerber Baby packaging belongs to mystery novelist Anne Turner Cook. In 1928, when Gerber began its search for a shirted face to help promote its new brand of baby food, Dorothy Hope Smith submitted a simple charcoal sketch of the tot, promising to complete it if it was chosen. As it turned out, that wasn't necessary because the powers that be at Gerber liked it just the way it was. Just if you guys don't know what powers that be is, it's the managers. It's managers. Your higher ups, your bosses is powers that be. In 1996, Gerber updated its look, but the new label design still incorporates Cook's baby face. 11. The Pillsbury Doughboy. Who can resist and don't say, "I know that girl." Not everyone does. Who can resist poking the chubby belly of this giggling icon? This cheery little kitchen dweller was born in 1965 when the Leo Burnett advertising agency dreamt him up to help Pillsbury sell its refrigerated dinner rolls. The original vision was for an animated character, but instead, agency producers borrowed a unique stop-action technique that had been used on the Dinah Shore show. After beating out more than 50 other actors, Paul Frees lent his own voice to the Doughboy. So if you've ever created Pillsbury rolls while watching The Adventures of Rocky and Bullwinkle, it's no wonder. Frees was also the voice for Boris Badenov and Dudley Do-Right. 12. Ronald McDonald, perhaps the most recognizable advertising icon in the world. This beloved clown made his television debut in 1963 and was originally played by future Today weatherman Willard Scott. Nicknamed the Hamburger Happy Clown, Ronald's look was a bit different back then. He had curly blonde hair, a fast food tray for a hat, a magic belt, and a paper cup for a nose. Ronald's makeover must have been a hit because McDonald's now serves more than 52 million customers every day around the globe.